the 50th in France, the Great Wall Restaurant has provided a delicious taste of authentic Chinese cuisine since 1981. Specializing in Szechuan and Peking dishes, they offer one of the most extensive menus in the Twin Cities. Favorites include hot and sour soup, pan-fried dumplings, and mushu pork with homemade Chinese pancakes. Stop by their Edina location or call for takeout at 952-927-4439. See the full menu at greatwallrestaurant.us.
Have you ever wanted to see a real Masonic Lodge or visit a beautiful hotel from the 1800s? Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken, Charvinity, bring you a weekend of paranormal investigations in Rush City, Minnesota. Starting Friday, September 22nd at the historic Grant House and continuing into Saturday, September 23rd at the Jasper Masonic Lodge. We have a lot of options for you to join in on this event. Go to charvinity.com/event-list for full details.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Clear tonight with a low of 52, then sunshine on Saturday with a high of 70. Nightingale is your cozy, comfortable neighborhood bar and restaurant at 26th and Lyndale in Minneapolis. Come in for the famous Nightingale Burger or the Ginger Tamari Chicken Wings. View their menu or place a takeout order at nightingalempls.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken.
And this is Ghostbox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakken, and thank you very much for joining us tonight. We are live from Crypticon in Plymouth, Minnesota, and we had people in here, Jim.
We had an audience.
And the convention staff removed them all.
Well, they'll be back.
They'll be back. So, well, not to look down on you two. You two are fine. I don't make it sound like you two are chopped liver or anything. Thank you for being here. It just was really weird. They had to card everybody, and so they had everyone in here move out. So, whatever. As long as you all are still with us, that's cool. And we're at Crypticon, Minnesota, in Plymouth, Minnesota, and check out their website. First of all, crypticonminneapolis.com. There are tickets and passes still available, day passes. So if you hear about what's going on here and you are really enjoying it, definitely check it out and come down for a day pass tomorrow. I think you're gonna have a great time. Yep. Sitting next to me tonight is my good friend Jim Seuss, who we've known for a while. We have a lot of very similar interests. And Jim,
yes, we do.
Jim, just want to say welcome to Ghostbox Radio tonight.
Oh, you mean this isn't Paranormal 60?
There we go.
Oh,
boy,
man.
I love the fact that you'd confuse the two of us.
Yes.
I tell you what, we put Dave Schrader on the show once, and now everybody confuses you with him. Unbelievable.
Well,
the difference is that Greg has a little bit more hair than me and Dave.
I was going to say, two of us, in here, at least one of us, has something.
But I've got the goatee going.
You do have the goatee. You do.
Yeah.
And
wait, put on my glasses here. There
you go. Yeah, it's looking good. So our audience is slowly returning from being carted off, literally. But Jim, while we get into things, because it's Casual Friday, right, that means anything can go tonight. So those watching streaming on Facebook, any questions you have tonight, anything you want to talk about, please put it in the comments. We'll talk about it. I see a lot of great people in the comments tonight. But Jim, can you talk about Crypticon a little bit for us, please?
Oh gosh, I got to tell you, it's a great small horror convention. We have a lot of guests here. I had a fangirl moment where I just got excited, and I'm drawing a blank on the guest's name, or he just bumped into me.
So good that his name just fell out of your head, huh?
Hey, I got into a car wreck a week ago.
That's right. That was
So
pretty serious. But I'm not letting you off the hook.
No. You shouldn't.
No.
But it was it's I've been coming here since 2012, and a lot of my friends came from this convention. Seriously, a bunch of good people, great guests, and I'm actually head of the programming of this year since of the two big strikes going on in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Stars can't talk about their past jobs. So I'm here. I'm having a good time.
That makes a media convention a lot of fun, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
So I said, well, what can I do? They wanted to rely more on me. So normally you do fan panels where a bunch of us idiots get out there and talk about our favorite movie and what we think is what there's trying to be said. But this year I thought I'd get other groups to come in, professionals like Greg here, and talk about the paranormal. I mean, heck, Greg is going to be here talking on a panel himself.
Yep.
On whatever he likes.
Absolutely. I'll be here, I think, tomorrow at 3 in the Europa room.
Yes.
Now, is that a room that I can put video up as well?
Yes, there will be video.
I need to make
there's a screen.
Yeah.
It is a very large room. That's the main stage for anyone here. And we've had it close to being full. I mean, Adrian Lee from Unscripted Paranormal, he was there, and it was a full house. We've had John Borowski, who is a specialist on serial killers, come in and talk about serial killer culture. And tomorrow he's going to be talking about the serial killers of the Midwest, which, wow,
a lot of light subjects being talked about this weekend.
Yes.
A lot of soft, lovely.
And Sunday, I'm going to tax Greg here and a bunch of others, because there's I've got the Twin Cities Paranormal Society here, and Adrian, and they're all going to compare locations. I want them to sit back and say, hey, I saw this there at the place and experienced these sounds, and here you go.
Yeah.
And I think that would be really fascinating, because Greg said one time, wow, that would be kind of cool to hear what others have to say about a location.
I think one of the things that's interesting about doing paranormal investigation is also being able to know, like, if the same thing that happens to you, or the same occurrences, or the same situation, it doesn't have to be exact, but is there something there that kind of makes you think, okay, I've had something that is very familiar. Does that mean it's residual? Does that mean it's that spirit is intelligent and might find like-minded people or something?
Yeah. I mean, did Greg hear that voice that went and said, hey, get out?
Right. No.
You're an idiot.
Then we found out it was Jim. Just actually Jim the whole time. And Crypticon, get out. I'm going to take your audience away.
Exactly.
I wanted to ask, and I knew I wasn't going to get him, so I didn't even bother asking you. I wish that Clint Howard would be here right now.
Oh God, that would be cool. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I just thought, because when I saw that he was going to be here, I'm like, oh my gosh, that would be pretty amazing.
But you can probably find him later on tomorrow or something like that.
Everybody can when they come to Crypticon.
Yes. I implore people to come to Crypticon.
And you and I, we've known each other for a while, and that I've done conventions for a number of years, and I was talking.
That's where we met.
Yeah.
At the convention.
Yeah. And in a sense, I always felt that you all did kind of the successor to the Minnesota Doctor Who Viewing Society,
right?
With the Doctor Who meetup.
Yes.
It just that we both served our purposes at the certain times at the right time. But I've been doing conventions since the late 80s, and we had, under the Whoniversity, it's a Doctor Who fan club. We came here to maybe do one of our conventions, and it just didn't work out for whatever reason. But this is the first time I've been in this hotel since then, in the early 90s.
Oh, this hotel?
This hotel right
Wow, okay.
here, the Crown Plaza well, it's called the Crown Plaza West, isn't it? Something Minneapolis
Right.
West, but this is all in Plymouth. Very easy to get to.
Yeah, it really is. Last time I was here was for a convention called Quantum Con,
That's right, in May.
and that is done by a good friend of ours, Anton Peterson, where he wants to do a regular paranormal convention.
Nice.
And hopefully, eventually, that takes off. And I know he invited you, Greg, and
He did.
but you couldn't make it.
I was sick. I was deathly ill, as it happens.
Well, not
So-
deathly. You were just sick.
No, I was deathly ill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I barely made through. But
Oh,
thanks for
wow.
bringing it up. That was great. Really appreciate that. No, but I was on the after side of it. I was getting better, but I was still very weak. It's one of those things too. It's like it stemmed from COVID. How many of us had COVID in here? Just curious.
Oh, we all have.
Right. I mean, I thought I was going to hold out forever, and no. How many months does it take you to even feel like you're on your way back? It's not, I mean, for me, it wasn't like, oh, my 2 weeks are up or whatever, I'm feeling much better. I mean, even now, my body is not the same as it was.
That was me.
I mean, I don't even want to know why you even just said that.
For some reason, I have superhuman abilities.
That's, yeah.
Because, folks, like I made mention that I got into a car wreck last week, and my car was completely totaled. I drove a small car. It's a miracle that I walked out.
Yeah, it is.
And the same thing like with COVID, I shrugged it off. But I'm not saying, for me, it was odd. And I, don't make light of it, because people did get sick. People did die.
Yeah.
People I knew.
So do you like Marvel or DC better?
Oh, man.
Because I'm just trying to figure out what superhero you've now become. Like, just some sort of like impervious to.
I was always, I see now as an adult, I'm more of a Marvel fan. And it's not because of the movies. I always, God, Spider-Man is one of my favorite characters.
Oh, always, since I was a kid. Yeah, very much so.
But as a kid, though, my two heroes were Superman and Captain America, both patriotic characters.
Right.
I dug them.
Right. Or Red Skull. I mean, that's always one of my favorite, villain stories.
Oh, okay. So
yeah,
he wasn't one of your idols.
Well, not an idol. Nazi Germany.
Exactly. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Come on.
Hail Hydra. No.
My idol's the Joker. So what does that really say about me?
Well, yeah, that's just. I mean, that's
you're just crazy.
Why so serious?
Adam. Marvel or DC over
I'm
there?
DC all the way. I am Batman 10,000%.
You are Batman.
It started back with Adam West and Burt Ward, Batman 66 for me, watching that in syndication.
Not the I'm Batman.
No, I'm not into the Christian Bale Batmans. I haven't liked any of the Batman movies, especially the Tim Burton ones.
There is one amazing Batman movie, and that's Mask of the Phantasm.
The animated? Yes, that is so good. And Long Halloween Part 1 that they put out 2 years ago, animated, is fantastic. Goes right along with the book.
Yeah. Well, Adam, have you seen any of the animated Batmans that had the return of Adam West and Burt Ward?
Yeah. In fact, I've also got the books that went along with them, written by Ralph Garman and Kevin Smith. So, yeah, I picked those up as well.
Wow. You're legit.
I am.
You're legit.
Yeah.
Man.
So, Jim, what are you specifically looking forward to at this con? Is there just like something that you're just like, bring it on?
Well, God, it's a panel that I arranged. He said, yeah, I'll do it. They approached him at Denver. Was Kevin Graveau?
Yeah.
He was in Underworld. And he said, yes, he would do a horror comic panel with a few the other panelists that I've got coming in locally. So, which is super, super cool. I'm really excited to hear that.
That's going to be great. That's going to be great. I mean, there's so much work that you have to put into this.
Yes.
Every year, just to kind of and thinking about how on earth can you do something that just as every year is different, but not too different, and fun, and try to think what people want.
Right. And not just that though. It's if anybody who's ever run a convention or run any organization, it's like herding cats. I had everything, all my stuff done, all planned out, everything, and then like somebody like, oh, we're gonna shake things up for you.
Right. No, I mean, and that's just it, and that could come from anywhere too, right? I mean, just like even as simple as like your top tier guests suddenly got work, and they not likely now at the moment, unfortunately, but you never know. But I mean, like in our Doctor Who worlds,
God, that happened to with Peter Davison.
It was Peter Davison, yeah.
So he had work, but that's understandable though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I know fans get so upset. Oh, John Doe canceled at the last minute. Well, because he got a job and he has to work during that time frame. You know what? I'm not going to knock him for that.
And that's always it's not necessarily a written rule; it's an unwritten rule that anybody who is doing these conventions, work always comes first.
Right.
Always. That's like gigs. That always comes first.
Yep.
And no, that's pretty cool. So, and someone, as Anzi had asked earlier, what is the topic for tonight? The topic is we're doing Casual Friday here from Crypticon in Minnesota. We got a number of things coming up. Looks like you have something to say, or you're just just making it look that way.
What do you want us to talk about?
That's right too. We have a number of things to talk about, but yes, anything that anyone wants, and you can call in too, 952-946-6205. You can call in at 952-946-6205. What we like to do on nights like this too, if you have a story, a paranormal story, a UFO story, a Bigfoot story that you want to share, send it in. Looks like you have something to say again.
All right, folks. One thing that a lot of people don't know is an anthropology minor, and I don't believe in Bigfoot. I don't. There are too many people on this planet now. Why haven't we seen him? Why haven't we hit him? Why haven't we? I know people will come up with all these crazy reasons why, but there's no scientific evidence of Bigfoot. Every time I see a footprint, it's a clean print. It's not where mud is slurred away or pushed up or dirt or anything like that. It's just a clean print. And I'm like, that if you walk barefoot in mud or dirt, whatever, and then look back at your footprint, it's never clean. It's never perfect.
Well, that will be, it's a very interesting take, because I know a lot of people who might have a couple things to say about that. It might be.
I'm sure you do.
Let's do this. Let's go ahead. Let's take our first break. When we come back, we have some stuff we want to talk about, some articles. We've got some stuff in the comments here we want to talk about. Once again, 952-946-6205. Feel free to call in. If you want to have a question about Crypticon, call in. Yes. That's what we're here for tonight. You are listening to Ghostbox Radio on AM 950.
If you own a holistic or metaphysical business and are looking to expand, then you need to be listed on metamorphosisconnections.com. It's a network where you can grow with like-minded practitioners and reach new clients. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory you need to list yourself and your business. Our platform makes it easy for you to create listings of your products and services, and you can also choose to list your classes, events, and so much more. Metamorphosisconnections.com helps you create weekly and monthly promotional ads targeted towards your potential clients and promotes them for you via social media and newsletter. There are clients searching for your specialty right now. Let us help them find you. Start your listing today so you can share your own unique gifts and talents by finding the level of membership that best fits your needs. Let us help you reach your clients that are searching for what you do. Visit metamorphosisconnections.com and sign up today.
Do yourself a favor and check out the amazing cuisine of eatlocalminnesota.com. More than just a website, eatlocalminnesota.com provides you with the best local and independently owned restaurants in the Twin Cities. Specializing in Szechuan and Peking cuisine, the Great Wall Chinese restaurant has been a local favorite since 1981. They offer one of the most extensive menus in the Twin Cities. Favorites include the sesame chicken, imperial beef, and Peking duck. The Great Wall restaurant is located off 45th and France, with takeout available too. More at greatwallrestaurant.us. The next time you're out in South Minneapolis, make Nightingale off 26th and Lyndale your go-to dining option. It's a comfortable neighborhood restaurant that features a delicious menu of American classics, plus a wide drink and cocktail selection. Nightingale has dining room and bar seating available, plus takeout and delivery. Current hours are 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. daily with the full menu until midnight. More at nightingalempls.com.
Have you ever wanted to see a real Masonic lodge or visit a beautiful hotel from the 1800s? Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken, Charvinity, bring you a weekend of paranormal investigations in Rush City, Minnesota. Starting Friday, September 22nd at the historic Grand House and continuing into Saturday, September 23rd at the Jasper Masonic Lodge, we have a lot of options for you to join in on this event. Go to charvinity.com/event-list for full details.
And welcome back to Ghostbox Radio on AM 950. My name is Greg Bakken. We are actually remote live from Crypticon, Minnesota, located this week at the Crown Plaza in Plymouth, Minnesota. It's called something else. So it's Crown Plaza, Minneapolis West or something.
Right, something like that.
Something. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're up on what it's called since you're working this convention.
Whatever.
Yeah. So, I mean, so if you have questions about it, maybe don't ask Jim. Actually, if you do have questions about it, in all seriousness, call in 952-946-6205. Then 952-946-6205. You can put your comments into the Facebook Live that we're doing. Also, let us know what you want to talk about tonight. Now, we do have a question from Zanzi. And, finally, people are returning. From are you carded? Did they get you taken care of?
Were you frisked? They frisked.
Oh wow! Like I said, there's high controversy this evening at Crypticon. No, it's not. It's fine. Zanzi asked the question. I think it's to you because of your blasphemy. I would like to ask what you think of Sasquatch, which we already know. We don't need to know anymore. And extraterrestrials. I mean, you are an extraterrestrial, so we got that covered.
Well, I told you about that dream. Should I talk about the dream that I had that one time?
Absolutely, go for it. As long as it's not too long.
Oh, it shouldn't be. Now I'm gonna stutter and stammer and whatever.
There's only a lot of us watching you, so
okay. Well, what happened was I woke up from a waking dream of something was standing over me, reaching out with his hand, and it was long. It was something gray, but it had a conical shaped head, and the head had grooves. There was no eyes, no mouth, no nothing. It was just grooves, and it was just reaching out. And I woke up screaming, and as I woke up sitting there ready to punch it, I was wide awake, and it just dissipated right in front of me. So it was something interesting. Greg goes, well, maybe you were visiting.
Well, I think, yeah, I do think so. And I won't get into my situation again because I've told this story too many times on the show. But the idea is, and I think the same could be said for a Sasquatch, in my opinion. Okay. And you don't have to agree with it. Is that it's all energy, right? But these are not beings that are like especially like a Bigfoot that they always live in the forest. I think that they're much higher conscious than we ever can imagine for them, because every time we've seen anything to do with a Sasquatch, there are elementals involved as well.
I will give you that. Possibly they are a forest spirit, a forest guardian.
Yep.
Who knows? And like all the thousands of people that go vanishing, from, California, all the way up to Alaska, besides it being dangerous country, maybe there is something out there, ripping the heads off of hikers.
Yeah, no, I mean, now Zanzi says that Sasquatch is an ET. They can shapeshift and cloak and have telepathic abilities. Now, I know Zanzi is extremely connected spiritually and whatnot. And Zanzi and I we've known each other for a long time. That one, I'm a little, I don't necessarily personally subscribe to that myself. Doesn't mean that I'm right in doing so, but it is how I feel about that. But the way that I go about trying to connect to spirit is I found back in February, and Zanzi was there for that session, that I connect with aliens the same way, and we connected to Sasquatch the same way in Kentucky, where something came out in an area.
Yeah, that's right. You were in Indiana.
Kentucky and Indiana, absolutely. Yeah.
I asked you. I never got.
No, I didn't, because I know you're a hater, so I didn't want to. No,
not just that. Well, no. Part of it is I lived down in that area.
Yeah, that's right. You did.
There were stories of Bigfoot down there.
Yes,
where I was at.
Yes,
especially around Lake Monroe.
And it's something, and I seriously have told this story so many times on here. Let's talk afterwards about it. And if anyone wants to hear, because I don't, there are, I mean, I've said it so many times, but it's very life-changing for me. But I also understand that
skinny dipping.
Yeah, well, there is that as well. And one of the places, actually, funny enough, in Kentucky, when we were doing this at Fort Duffield, it buds right up to Fort Knox. So it's really interesting. So exactly probably where it is. West Point, Kentucky is where we're just outside of Louisville. So it's very interesting. Now let's see here. Robin, who used to work on Darkness Radio, has asked the question, what do you think the most underrated cryptid is? I'm going to ask that to anyone here, but also, folks, put into the comments what you think is the most underrated cryptid. Now, does everyone in here understand what we mean by cryptid? Cryptid would be like, in this kind of vein of like Bigfoot, Chupacabra. So
street corner clowns.
I'm actually going to go with the orang pindak as the most underrated. I think that's the most believable out of all of them.
So can you explain what that is, please?
All right. So the orang pindak, and let me get closer to my monitor here because I wanted to actually pull it up. Everybody last night saw how blind I actually am.
Well, and for those who are in here with me, it's not my computer talking. There's somebody at the station. His name is Adam.
I'd say he's a little gnome.
It's like there's like a little person living in my computer. We don't feed him. So
well, the people who saw me on camera last night, yes, camera adds 10 pounds. There were 7 pointed at me. But
while you do that, Zanzi says, and I do agree with her, everyone who goes on a paranormal investigation thinks it's always about a ghost, a demon, a spirit. Right. Sometimes it's just an ET. Zanzi, I mean, like I just said, sometimes like some of the stuff you said I didn't personally subscribe to. I am 100% behind you, and I found that out firsthand this year.
Well, one of the panels that happened right before the radio show here was basically we were, come in and tell your experience. We wanted to hear everybody's paranormal experience, and we touched upon, it's a demon, and I'm like, we're like, not everything's a demon.
No, you'll know a demon. You'll know a demon.
Demons are so rare.
Yeah.
If anything, it's just, they're jerks spiritually.
Yeah. Oh, and that's just it. I mean, that's just it. If you were a jerk while living, Jim, then that means that you're probably going to be the same after you pass. You don't sprout wings and you're like angelic. You like to, if you like to play with people, if you like to have a little fun, that's the same sort of thing.
When I go, I'm going to dig up Greg's bushes.
Yeah, well, mow the lawn too. Adam, what do you got for us?
Okay, so the orang pindak is actually it's part of Indonesian folklore. And a lot of people depict it as being like an orange to brown colored humanoid that stands about 4.5 to 5 feet tall. So not exactly like Bigfoot range, but kind of in that same cryptid family, if you will, as a hairy two-legged walking hominid. And it's been studied by National Geographic, had crews in Indonesia for several years trying to photograph it. Debbie Martyr, who is a researcher of wildlife, she was trying to get research of it as well. there were signs that something was in Indonesia, but nobody ever really got any photographic evidence of it.
See, now from my anthropology background, that's really interesting, especially orange. I mean, it would kind of fit the orangutan. But who knows? I mean, again, that jungle is bigger than the rainforest down in Brazil. It's huge, and we have no clue what's down there and in those rainforests.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would agree with that. I think it is some unknown hominid. I mean, heck, it could be something like Florencia, which was the Hobbit.
Yep.
So again, it's all fascinating, discussions.
Now, to your point about, and this is how, we all have the same interests. We all have the same sort of belief system, but we might have different takes on different things.
Right.
Mine is, I don't think there's any possible way there's a Loch Ness monster.
Oh God, no.
I mean, that's just, or Pepe in
I
like
want
Pepin.
to believe in a Pepe though, but
no. I do, and I want to believe in a Loch Ness monster.
Right.
But I mean, it doesn't seem remotely possible to me.
Because if they're claiming, oh yeah, it's a creature that survived 65 million years ago, a species, well, there would be more. And if they were like the reptilian family, they would be basking. They wouldn't be warm-blooded.
Yeah.
We would see them basking on the shore like seals. Even seals bask.
Right. I think the first sighting of Loch Ness monster was in 565 AD. And I do think that maybe it was more possible back then, but I think it was one of those legends that have kind of kept going, and no one, I mean, as Matt McNeil said on his show, it's like it's great for tourism, that's really what it comes down to.
Yes.
So why don't I want to do this because I had promised you some evidence. And we'll see if I have it on here. I might not even have it on here. Let's see. I might have erased it. Okay, nope, we're still here. So we like Jim said, we just got done doing I was watching this great panel about share your paranormal experiences. Right. And I know that you shared some stuff. I came in towards the end, but I wanted to share, and everyone has seen this before, but I wanted to share the Ouija board experience that I've had so that you can hear, because it's actually a voicemail. And back in 2019, and you haven't heard this, back in 2019, I thought, boy, I would like to use a Ouija board for some reason. It just kind of came over me, and I didn't have one at that time. Since then, I have about 7 of them. One's over 100 years old. That's been bound. So got this Hasbro, Parker Brothers, whatever it was. I'm a big spender, right?
Right.
I go to the cutting edge of paranormal equipment, Amazon, to get this thing.
Parker Brothers, man, they have the patent for the paranormal.
Comes with a free demon, and so I went ahead and I got this thing, and I took out the board and I put the planchette down, and I'm like, can anyone come through, please, or whatever I said. And nothing happened. And I didn't expect anything to happen. And so I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I put the board away, never thought about it again until the next day when I had, I got a phone call at work, and the phone number is area code 952-666. And there's 4 other numbers that are, to my knowledge, I have a screen grab of what that was, but it's not really important. And I joked to my friend, I'm like, I ain't answering that. Ha ha ha. And so they leave a voicemail. And I'm like, okay, interesting. So I'm going to play that voicemail for you all right now. A lot of you have heard this before, but I want to play this again for some of our new members that are in here. You haven't heard this?
No.
All right. So this is the voicemail left the day after I used the Ouija board.
Hi.
Mrs. Lincoln, you spent your entire life.
This again. There we go.
How dare you?
Do you hear that? How dare you?
Let me out.
So I'm going to play it one more time for you all. Make sure this time I'm actually using the right one.
How dare you?
Let me out again?
There's two things being said here, I believe. How dare you let me out of here, and how dare you let me out again?
Right, yeah.
So what's the first thing you're going to do when you get that? Well, okay. The second thing, I called the number because I'm like, I don't know what this is. I got to call the number. It doesn't exist. It doesn't go through. So I call the phone company, and the phone company's like, well, we don't do numbers with 666. So that was interesting, to say the least. Cut forward about 2 years later, I was with my friend Christy at my house. I was doing these Tuesday night, before I had the nightly show, I would do Tuesday night spirit box sessions on Facebook. And she was over. She brought, I mean, we're really responsible people over here. And she brought a voodoo doll. And I had my same Ouija board that I haven't touched since the voicemail. I used other boards, but I hadn't touched this one. So we were doing this, and I said, "Spirit, that here's a voicemail." I played it for the spirit, for everyone to hear, and I'm like, "This is what you said. Can you come through to me again, please? Can you knock on the walls? Can you do whatever you can to come through? Because this stuff doesn't scare me, okay? And that's not saying it's a smart thing to do, but I don't mind doing it." So nothing happened again. The next morning at 7 a.m., a massive crash happened in the kitchen. And Christy is like, I'm like, what on earth? And she's like, that's Linus, my cat. Like, Linus is right there. So I go downstairs, and there is stuff from the top of my refrigerator that's been there for 16 years, all on the floor, trays and stuff. And there is no decline. There is nothing. There's like the fridge wasn't like vibrating, like there's like a motor vibrating off slowly. That was a response. Yeah, it's, or just, and spirit never works on your timeline.
No, it's like, here, pay attention to me.
Yeah, pretty much. So we got to get to the Mexican alien body. We got much more to get to. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and take our next break. When we come back, we're going to read some stuff. Your comments, don't forget, 952-946-6205. If you want to call in, you're listening to Ghostbox Radio on AM 950.
Fall is here and it's the season of changes. But you know what doesn't change? The fun and excitement at the National Eagle Center in Wabasha. Pack up the family for a perfect day trip and take a drive to Wabasha to join the celebration during their Soar Fall Flight Festival happening September 23rd and 24th. They're highlighting fall migration along the Mississippi River Flyway and celebrating Native American cultures and their connections to eagles. You'll meet the live eagle ambassadors, catch an exciting program in the beautiful Riverfront Amphitheater, and enjoy a front row seat to fall migration. You can explore Native and Indigenous cultures by visiting the exhibitor booths from Effigy Mounds National Monument, Indigenous artist Inkpa Manny, and Native American craftsman Dick Mindikowski. Plus, meet live birds from the Midwest Peregrine Society. Register for an unforgettable eagle viewing trip or behind-the-scenes experience and enjoy seasonal arts and crafts for all ages. It's a fall party with the Eagles, and you're invited. Get all the details online at nationaleaglecenter.org/soar and schedule your Eagle Fun today.
Reach your highest level of consciousness and well-being with metamorphosisconnections.com. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory of the best holistic and metaphysical practitioners to help you make your most informed choices. You can search metamorphosisconnections.com for classes, events, wellness and life coaches, plus metaphysical products and shops. You can also search for a wide array of healers from all modalities, including EFT, sound healing, energy healing, light therapy, ancestral healing, shamanic healing, reflexology, past life regressions, hypnotherapy, yoga, and more. And if you're not sure where to start, the search feature on metamorphosisconnections.com is tailored to help both those who know what they are looking for and those who are just starting. Come explore the possibilities for your higher self by visiting metamorphosisconnections.com. Their experienced practitioners can guide both beginners and those that are already on their spiritual journey. That's metamorphosisconnection.com, your link to direct you on your spiritual transformation.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Clear tonight with a low of 52, then sunshine on Saturday with a high of 70. Nightingale is your cozy, comfortable neighborhood bar and restaurant at 26th and Lyndale in Minneapolis. Come in for the famous Nightingale burger or the ginger tamari chicken wings. View their menu or place a takeout order at nightingalempls.com.
And don't forget, there are tickets still available for our event over on September 22nd and 23rd in Rush City, Minnesota. September 22nd, we are doing an investigation of the historic Grant House, a fantastic location. I've been there many, many times, and a lot of paranormal activity has taken place there. But then on Saturday, the 23rd, kitty corner from the Grant House is the Jasper Masonic Lodge. It's a fantastic, Char Savoy and I have really been the only ones who investigated so far. It's untapped. We're going to actually, one of the people are going to take part in the event. They're just attendee. They actually are Masons. So we call them trigger objects. So it's going to be a lot of fun. To get tickets, go to charvinity.com/event-list. It's also going to be, it has been on my Facebook page, Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And you can tell that come on in. We're doing a radio show. People are frightened, and I don't blame them. So
we're not that scary, folks.
Not that scary. We're scary, but not that scary. Do y'all like paranormal? We're talking about paranormal.
Come on.
Do you want to hear Mrs. Lincoln? Do you want to hear Mary Todd Lincoln talk? All right, let's do that. Anyone know what a spirit box is? Okay, so I kind of like the spirit box. That's my thing when I do paranormal investigations. I apologize to our listeners who have heard this before. I would do sessions on Facebook that I try to reach out to famous people just to see if I can. I'm not saying that I can, but I use mediumship along with my spirit box. And one night I thought I'd like to reach out to President Lincoln. Anyone on ever watched Discovery Plus? There's a great documentary about the last photo of Lincoln. It's hotly contested. So I put I asked before I started my live, and I reached out to Spirit, and I just said, President Lincoln, I have this flashlight. Can you turn it on if it's okay if I talk to you tonight? And it turns on. And I said, could you reset? And it turns off. I want to show you a picture. There's going to be a lot of people watching. Can you, will that be okay to do this? It turns on again, turns off. May I also talk to Mary Todd Lincoln? I have a question for her. Turns on again and turns off. So we're good. I start up the program. I ask the question. I put that picture up on screen. Right. President Lincoln, is this you? And you get this voice through the spirit box. Yes. That's all. Nothing more. And the chat room goes crazy. Like, oh my God, you got him. I started to get like starstruck. It's just so silly, right? But I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if this is him or not. And then so I'm like, I got to ask Mary Todd Lincoln a question. My question to her was simply this: Mrs. Lincoln, when you're living, you spoke to the dead. Now that you're dead, do you speak to the living? Well, I was so starstruck and everyone was freaking out about it. I mess up this question so badly that she gets really pretty upset. Here you go. Here's the audio.
Mrs. Lincoln, you spent your entire life reaching out to spirits. Do you talk to other people? Do you talk to other people as a spirit, to other living people?
Talk about what?
Talk about what?
Is that Mary Todd Lincoln? I don't know. But that's an exasperated woman who's just like, now she's just like, shut up, Greg, and like you are right now. Yeah, I can see it.
Whatever,
in your face.
Greg.
I'm going to play it one more time because you hear a male voice. That's the male voice we attributed to Lincoln. And so I say, Mrs. Lincoln, you talk to the dead, and you hear this male voice say, I know. So I'm going to play this one more time.
Mrs. Lincoln, you spent your entire life reaching out to spirits. Do you talk to other people? Do you talk to other people as a spirit, to other living people?
Talk about
what?
What you all think? Can anyone hear me? You're all so lively. I think it's an amazing piece of recording.
I find it fascinating because she was so into, talking to mediums and whatnot, from what I remember hearing, during
Oh yeah, no, she
and
she very much was.
yeah, it was due to a child that passed on.
Well, her son. I mean, her life had been nothing but tragedy.
Right.
It really started to snowball, especially after her young son passed away, and then started to get all the foreboding of her husband passing away as well. So yeah, she very much so. But I mean, I think what's really interesting too is that people that people are in the comments were like, can we play this against a known recording of Lincoln to see if it's really him? Well, no, because this was about 15 years before started record. Thank you though, all the same. So got a couple comments here I'd like to read. Robin says there's so many creatures that we haven't discovered in the oceans, closed locks and lakes. I don't think we have that weird stuff, but the open ocean, that's a mystery.
Yes.
And they are finding stuff that we've not classified before.
Giant squid.
Yeah, that's right.
But there's no megalodons.
No. Let's see. Diana says, I was not a Squatch believer so much until joining another team annually for the last few years. This year was trippy. I had 3 separate odd, unexplainable things in 2 separate areas happen. Also being chased out of the edge of the woods by nothing, heard it running towards me, nothing there. And that happened to me in Kentucky with Shar when we weren't chased out, but we were walking and there was something in the woods that was matching our footsteps. So when we stopped, it stopped. So, and that's not great.
Interesting. One of my beliefs with this though is still that, it's just, there's, I'm a photographer, and, I talked with a good friend of mine. We're both outdoors guys. My friend Dave Kaufman, who does Dave Kaufman Adventures and Reptiles and whatever. We sat and talked one day about Bigfoot, and trail cams hasn't picked anything up, and video equipment is far superior than it was years ago. But yet nobody seems to be able to get a clear picture of it. Bigfoot always happens to be behind a grove of trees, and it's never a clear picture. People will say, oh, well, he's hiding. There are stupid animals out there as well. Yeah, I mean, just not everything is, aware of us. So, yeah. The what?
That is well, and so
I've heard so many stories that where they admitted it was a fake.
That's not true though.
And there are stories that it's real, and they're like, oh yeah, it's a female, you can tell.
I would recommend my own show where we had on MK Davis was on. What he's been doing is that he has been going through the film and up-resing it to 4K.
Okay.
And he has some very interesting things to say about that. Now I'm biased because I believe.
Right.
So, but maybe take a listen at some point and just see what you think. I think it's a very interesting take on that. Adam, what's your take on the Gimlin film, the Patterson Gimlin film?
I really like the new 4K, what he's done so far with a few of the frames. And the thing that always got me with the initial grainy video footage was the look over kind of looked like the Phoenix Suns mascot mask, like somebody had a gorilla suit on. Now with the 4K, you can see features in the face, and it does look like would be a female form, as opposed to the big male form that everybody's discussed over the past 40, 60 years or whatnot. But I really like this footage. It has changed my mind a lot on that footage. I thought it was one of the bigger pranks ever pulled, but now that I'm seeing the 4K, I'm more into this video than I have been on a few of the newer ones that I've seen, where there is something there.
I'll have to check that out then. I mean, seriously.
Now, moving on to other areas that we've been talking about all night, a Mexican journalist and self-proclaimed ufologist presented what he said were 1,000-year-old non-human corpses to Mexico's Congress, unveiling two scrawny, cartoon-like bodies during a hearing on Tuesday. You know what? You got Dee Wallace here. Can we get her take on the bodies?
Cartoon-like bodies.
This is the Washington Post.
Hey, which one? Daffy Duck?
Well,
that's funny.
So this is the first time extraterrestrial life is presented in such a form, and I think there is clear demonstration that we're dealing with non-human specimens that are not related to any other species in our world. Jamie Masson told lawmakers, speaking under oath, "We are not alone. The tiny alleged aliens, which lay in two boxes during the hearings," that's just weird in itself, "are likely about 1,000 years old, according to analysis conducted by the National Autonomous University of Minnesota. God, Mexico, it's time to go home. The bodies were recovered underground in Peru in 2017 and found wrapped in algae, which helped preserve them, he said. The figures looked like akin to E.T. a little bit, the fictional movie Alien. They were both white, with enlarged heads, 3 fingers per hand, and long, skinny limbs. These are not mummies," Masson said. "They are complete bodies that have not been manipulated, but have they given these things Reese's Pieces to see if they actually are going to respond."
I mean, were they? I would assume.
Calling Dee Wallace.
I assume that these.
She's at this convention.
Were dehydrated. I mean, to the extent of almost being mummified.
Yes, absolutely.
So, again, was there any actual, autopsy or dissection done on these things?
Well, and so, Adam, didn't you say that you had, or was it you that said you read something about MRIs being done to
it was that.
Adam, did you?
Yeah,
was that you?
So, I did see on the artist formerly known as Twitter that they had done MRIs, and basically what the images were showing that they had essentially like 3 stomachs.
Yeah.
Nothing in like where the heart region would be, and it looked like organs like down in the leg area.
That's where they belong. Yeah.
But what it looked like to me with the photos, and if those photos are real, and if these 2 mummified objects were real, what it almost looked like to me is unfortunately 2 individuals, probably twins, who happened to be deformed and then buried and mummified the way they were.
Yeah.
So I'm not buying that they have bodies. I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. I'd be very surprised by that as well. So, yeah, I mean, we just have about a minute or so left. Jim, what's your take on him?
I'm with Adam. I don't believe in that. I think this is just a hoax for money or notoriety.
Interesting. Yeah. So I guess we'll find out more. NASA was very helpful. Their response was, "We don't know." So that was, I mean, why even ask them, because they didn't have any access to them anyway.
Right.
So that's kind of weird. Before we head out, I just want to say, because I forgot to mention this actually, because I was so wrapped up in our conversation, was that Monday we're going to do a 3-night special about the Enfield Demon House. Ooh. And this Jay Yapel is going to join me. I'm not going to play the clip because we don't have time for it, because I did an interview with him in 2016. But this is going to be a fantastic conversation over 3 nights. We're going to talk about how dark and nasty this place was, and we're going to also talk about how it got better and how it became a place that is now open to people to stay at, investigate at, and has been clean, and new evidence about what was there. So that starts Monday for 3 days. The Enfield Demon House. We're going to be talking about it. It's going to be pretty incredible. It's a very very deep and dark story. So definitely want to listen to that if you're into that sort of thing. And I think it will be. Jim, we're out of time.
Oh no.
And I just wanted to say thanks for clearing out my audience originally. But in all honesty, we have 5 seconds left. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it.
I had a blast. I'd like to do this again sometime.
Well, we'll see. So come out to Crypticon, CrypticonMinneapolis.com. Day pass is available. Everyone have a great weekend. We'll be back Monday with the Demon House.
Hi, it's Matt McNeil. Listen to the Matt McNeil Show from